Without a doubt in my mind, Nintendo 100% snorted a whole line of before making Super Mario Sunshine. I had never played this game growing up because I was a PlayStation 2 kid and I didn't even have a clue what a Gamecube was at the time. And boy did I miss out. Throughout my gameplay of Super Mario Sunshine, I made it a point to remind myself that the game was released in 2002 so that I could keep myself grounded in that time, but not too much because it also reminds me of my age. After playing the game, I was left thinking about its story, gameplay, and difficulty, which altogether made it a really memorable and cozy experience that helps me set a new standard for 3D platformers. Starting with the game's story, it's the classic Bowser steals Peach, then Mario rescues Peach story, but that isn't really clear right at the beginning. Mario expects to arrive at Isle Delfino with Peach, Toadsworth, and a few other Toads to enjoy a vacation, but is instead immediately arrested for vandalizing the island. Mario obviously didn't do this, but he nonetheless has to do community service by cleaning up the mess with FLOOD, which I know is an acronym, but I just think of it as a talking water hose / jetpack / rocket / booster that's on Mario's back. Mario later discovers the real culprit to be Shadow Mario, who's an evil Mario doppelganger, but Shadow Mario is actually Bowser Jr. in disguise to steal Peach. I never know what Bowser and his kids' obsessions are with having Peach as their wife / mom, but they are determined as hell, and you gotta commend them for it. As the player, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable and winding story, but they really had me in the end when I thought they randomly set up FLOOD's death, but luckily he was repaired in the end. It made me realize that this whole time, FLOOD was actually a character that I liked, and I don't even know why. Moving on to the gameplay, I really felt that the game's dynamic color palette, simple graphics, and even the feel of the Gamecube controller gave it an overall retro and cozy feel that I haven't felt since SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom for the PS2 as a kid. I thought that the game had some very interesting level designs, with there being 7 levels total, comprising of 7 stages each before heading to the final area of the game. All of these levels are accessible via the game's central area, which is Delfino Plaza, where Mario was arrested in the beginning. There were some certain stage types like chasing Shadow Mario, collecting red coins, secret levels, which I'll talk about soon, and racing Il Piantissimo, if I said that right, that I found repetitive at times. But there were others that I totally did not expect, which I welcomed as a pleasant surprise. These are not only platforming levels where you have to jump down a waterfall, ride a blooper, and use boos as stairs, but also boss battles like PD Piranha, Gooper Blooper, and King Boo, which all require completely different strategies to complete. It's almost as though you need those repetitive stages so that unique ones can stand out that much more. Now, there were some things that I wasn't quite expecting, and not necessarily in a bad way, but more of a funny and challenging way. If anything, I actually think they add to the game's difficulty and overall experience. The first thing that I noticed right off the bat that was hard to come to terms with at first was the game's camera. The X-axis was inverted, so I had to move the stick on the controller to the left if I wanted to look right, and to the right if I wanted to look left, and forward for zooming in and backwards for zooming out. For someone who has always been used to left, right, up, and down, making the camera go left, right, up, and down, this was honestly a little shocking. I immediately looked online to see if there was a setting to change this because of course in 2025, I'm spoiled with having options for whatever I want, but alas, there was no fix. I didn't want to let that get the best of me though, so I just pushed through it and tried not to think of it too much, and it was actually a learning curve that I got used to far more than I even realized. I got so used to it to the point where after finishing the game and then hopping onto a session of Marvel Rivals, you can literally see me fighting the camera because I'm automatically in Mario mode. Honestly, I thought I was having a stroke. I also thought that there were some things in this game I would have had no clue how to do if it weren't for the internet helping me. One example was there being water on the wall of a bathroom in Serena Beach that was actually a hidden passage to move forward. And another was knowing where a Yoshi egg was in Delfino Plaza to access levels like Serena Beach that I didn't even know how to enter. The most notable action though that I had absolutely no idea how to do was that to access the Noki Island level, you would need to stand on the corresponding platform and then look at the freaking sun in order to enter the level. I never would have guessed that in a million years. Do you know what I did? Ground pound over and over thinking I was doing something. Another thing, which honestly just might be my luck with any Mario game, is the specific jumps and timing of the jumps that you can do with platforming. I thought having FLUDD in the game was an absolute blessing because it allows you to control your jumps, but there are still points where you have to do a side jump or spin jump, and no matter how much I show that I can do it, it ends up showing me when I need it the most. With that said, I would say that the most challenging thing in this whole game, 100% without a doubt, would be the secret stages. They are the spawn of Satan, the bane of my existence, and quite literally the embodiment of evil itself.
No, Squidward, I meant good for your soul.
Oh, please. I have no soul.
Once you find these stages in a level, you then enter a classic Mario-style platforming level that you have to do without FLUDD and complete in one run without falling, or you'll have to start them all over again. I have never in my life sweat from my hands when playing a video game solely because of these stages. They were all at least 30 minutes for me to complete, and they really just take a couple minutes to do successfully. They were so bad that I dreaded seeing the word secret, and every time I beat them, I felt like celebrating by cracking a cold one, and I don't even drink. Those were my initial thoughts from beating Super Mario Sunshine for the Gamecube, which I thought was a stellar game, and I think I would even dare to say that I would replay the game in the future, but as a completionist. What are your thoughts on this game? Were you as late to the party as me? Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe if you enjoyed my video. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.